probably get a little notice. Yes, we're being live streamed. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all fabulous. Welcome to our session today. I am just going to pop the link into the group, into the live video. So, there we go. Alrighty, great to see you all. Our launch date is approaching, isn't it? Oh my God, it's coming quickly. We've got 2 weeks, I think, until our launch portal kicks off. Let me just confirm that so that I'm giving you the right dates. Yeah, 2 weeks today. How are you all feeling? Who's getting a little bit like excited, nervous? Yeah. It happens, right? As we approach any kind of birth, as this certainly is, it's a birth of our amazing collaborative book. It's gonna be like at the same time exciting and thrilling and like nervous and terrifying. And really what's happening is we're kind of butting right up against our edges of comfort and we're kind of smashing right through them in the most tender and compassionate of ways. So today's session, guys, we're going to be diving deep into the energetics of visibility. And I'm going to be taking you through a really powerful process. It's going to be looking at a particular, what I call a particular vow that it's like the one thing that stands in the way of us being really confident and like willing to be seen on a much bigger stage. You've probably done this with me before, Steph. So just, it's great to do these processes a second time and see how much you've developed and you've grown. But yeah, I wanted to, I guess, talk a little bit about about the energetics of our launch and taking things big, taking things global. Because of course, that's why a lot of us are here. Yeah, we're here to be seen in a much bigger way. We're here to really claim our authority and to put our story out in the world. It's a particularly vulnerable experience, especially if we've written about things that have been like, really real and raw, which a lot of you have. So honoring at the same time that we can be like excited, nervous, and prepared at the same time. Like the two things can be true at the same time. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah, and I really encourage you as we approach our launch, I encourage you to notice what's coming up. Don't do what I historically have always done, which is get really busy and, churn out all sorts of like projects and things and suppress the shit out of my feelings so that by the time it's like 48 hours out, I'm like, sabotage mode. Okay, that was my historical pattern. Don't do that because it will not be a fun experience for you. So as we move up against these edges of comfortability, we are really wanting to be really mindful of what's happening in our lower selves, right? What's happening in our shadow, for our inner child, in the lower realms, right? Like the human body, what's happening for your human. Now, I was, I think, talking to Joe about this on one of our one-on-one calls. It was about a week ago. It's like we can hold two truths at the same time, two dichotomies at the same time, right? We can at the same time be in our human and be like really scared and really nervous and have all of our traumas potentially activated and have our inner child having a tantrum and having like our saboteur kicking into action or desiring to kick into action and wanting to do a dive and go, why the fuck did I commit to this? What was I thinking? This is a terrible idea. We can be at the same time in that human, very real and raw experience. And at the same time, powerfully connected to our higher self, to our star families, to God, to source, to whoever it is that you connect to in the bigger planes, recognizing that like, yeah, you made that decision from that space. It wasn't your inner child that said, I want to become a published author. I highly doubt it, right? It wasn't your inner procrastinator that was like, let's get big global visibility, right? It wasn't that lower human part of you. Welcome, Zoe. It was your higher self, your soul, the one who is like, in my opinion, pulling the strings and guiding you, supporting your human to do what it's here to do in this lifetime, in this planet on Earth, where we're in the third density and things can get really real and really intense. So holding both truths at the same time, and at the same time as that, being very aware and very mindful of what's happening in the lower realms. Okay, like we're going to be, as we approach our launch, as we approach the roundtables and the launch portal and the summits, and particularly if you're coming on the promo vortex journey with me, we'll be doing a lot of these kinds of processes very regularly to support everyone in that really powerful container of showing up consistently 5 days a week for 4 weeks, right? So we're going to be doing a lot of this sort of work inside of that little vortex, which is like, you have to, you know, opt in for that. Not everyone will want to do that. Not everyone desires to do that. But for those of you who do, that space is there. I'm creating that space for you guys. So when we're talking about visibility, and when we're talking about like really stepping into our power and really claiming our authority, and, you know, really taking our visibility to the next level, like let's get featured on summits and podcasts and PR publications and, you know, like the high level publicity, we want to make sure that we have our energetics on board, right? Otherwise, we know what happens. We've been there before. We go into sabotage mode, procrastination, health crisis, like relationship breakdown. God knows I've been there and experienced it all. So when it comes to visibility, we have to understand as well that for everyone in this group, there's a spectrum of comfort, right, with visibility. And all of you will be at different stages on that spectrum, right? Some of you will be in business for a very long time, will have really like mastered your methodologies and like really like solid in the work that you're here to do. And maybe you might not have such a strong, what I call vow of invisibility. Maybe you do, and you've spent a lot of energy and a lot of time like really putting a handle on it, you know, so that you can still get the work out there. Maybe you're at the beginning of this stage of this journey, and, you know, you are coming up against visibility fears. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. Everyone will be at a different point on that spectrum. And so what's great about that is that as we come together in our beautiful group and, you know, like really kick off the train of our launch, we can all energetically hold each other in that. Okay. So I really encourage you. There's a few of you, like I know Kirsty, you popped in the other day, like a vulnerable share. This is where I'm at. Like I really encourage that. Did you feel better? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Did you feel better for voicing that? Yeah. Okay. It's the power of being witnessed, the power of being seen, and the power of being held, right? And asking to be supported. So please use this space for that. And also, like, as this is why I love so much these projects, because it's like, it's the most definitive, like the most definitive container I've ever experienced that, and I've ever facilitated, that really works with that manifestation channel, right? Like we have the concept, we start the visioning process, like we start the speaking, we start feeling, we come into the solar plexus where it's all about like getting into action, and then into the creativity, and then we're birthing it through the base chakra. As we come down into those lower centers, that's where a lot of our trauma can reside, right? That's where a lot of the visibility fears, a lot of the vows around, is it safe to be powerful? Is it safe to be in my authority? Am I going to be triggering old family dynamics? I don't want to be seen to be too big for my boots. I don't want to be, you know, in Australia, we call it tall poppy syndrome. Like, that's why so many of us, and the masses particularly, will like stay in the realm of comfortability. Yeah. Because it's safe, and because it doesn't necessarily have us deal with this stuff that is stored in the lower realms, in the lower self, in the lower energy centers. So flagging that for you guys, you can get the best, the most powerful experience from this process moving forward if you actively engage with what comes up for you as you go through the process, right? I'm going to be sharing with you one tool that I like to use today. There's so many tools. We are all like masters of our craft in here. So work your tools, work your medicine, self-leadership, lead yourself first. work your medicine and your magic on yourself. Okay, 1 minute. Alrighty, so we're talking today about the one vow that will potentially limit you from being comfortable to really step onto the stage, and that is the vow of invisibility. Okay, so these vows, and we'll talk about them a little bit, I might weave more through as we go through. Typically, these kinds of vows get triggered when we are children, when something happens to us. Usually when it comes to the vow of invisibility, it's when we might have like really put ourselves out there in the fullness and the completeness of who we are as a little child, as a little toddler, as a little girl, a little boy, and had that shut right down. Now, we've probably all experienced this to some degree. I know for me, as a little tiny 7-year-old, 8-year-old with this like wild frizzy red hair that I didn't know how to tame, and like big boobs from my young age, like, and this funny walk that I used to do, like I stood out like a sore thumb, you know. And I have many experiences, many memories of being, particularly for me, on the playground, and, you know, like, because I was so visible in the fullness of who I was, it drew a lot of attention. And so what did I learn as a small child? I learned to tone that down. I learned to hunch my shoulders. I learned to quieten my voice so as not to bring too much attention, right? And you would all have some memory or experience of this. For some of you, you potentially took on the vow of invisibility when your physical safety was broached, whether that was through physical, sexual, emotional trauma. And suddenly to be too seen and too visible and to occupy too much space is dangerous. It like actively like challenges and kicks our nervous system into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? So what do we learn? We learn it's not safe to be seen. We learn that if I take up too much space, I'm going to be in danger, right? Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, when we are in business, when we are in the space of like self-leadership, tapping into our mission, taking things to the next level, ramping up our visibility, these are the things that we meet time and time again, right? This is why I believe business is one of the best personal development programs you can do, business and relationships, yeah? Because the beautiful thing about this is that the more you work on it, the more money you make, the more income you have, the more impact you make, the more people you serve, the more souls you transform. It has a direct impact on your bank account and on the amazing fulfillment that you experience from offering your services, right? So looking at all of this stuff as it comes up, welcome, Jules, great to see you. And remembering that, like, if you have any of these like old vows that haven't been fully integrated yet, like it causes inner conflict every time you want to step into your power, every time you want to speak up about a topic that's really important to you, but maybe challenging to others. It will like cause this inner conflict, right? Every time you want to ramp up your prices, every time you want to claim your authority and like speak to, like in your marketing and your social media on Facebook Live, where you may have old friends and family and like school people and colleagues from 10 years ago, like it's a shit show out there. When you think about it, like who else does this? Only the crazy entrepreneurs. We're the only ones that like actively challenge this shit in public view with all of our family to see. So I'm honoring you all if you're like in the process of doing that, which I know that you are, and just like having a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of a cosmic giggle, like, man, I signed up for, you know, for the intense ride. But we're not here to play it easy. We're not here to play it safe. And like I said at the beginning, holding two truths at the same time. Yes, your human might be shitting himself, and your soul, your higher self, your ancestors are backing you. Your star families are backing you. The galactic beings, like all of the entities that are there in your field, in your channel, are like, yes, she's finally doing it. He's finally doing it. Okay. So the vow of invisibility will keep you invisible, right? It will keep you small. It will keep you modest. It will keep you self-sacrificing. It will keep you thinking in that small zone, right? If we want outrageous, amazing, if we want to call in amazing results and like outrageous quantum level, quantum leaping experiences, we need to think outrageously. We need to think quantum. We need to like actively expand our perception to match the results of what we're calling in, right? We often forget that. And so if this vow is playing out, yeah, it'll keep your profile low, no matter how much your soul, your higher self is like, come on, you can do it. Come on, take the next step. It's like the old woundings kick in, the old patterns kick in. Okay. And like we spoke about, sometimes having a persona that's low key limits the amount of attention given to us. And that's actually, like, in a very roundabout way, keeping us very safe. Okay. So two things can start to happen when we start to take in higher levels of action, call in high levels of confidence, tap into high levels of visibility. Yeah. If we have this active vow, like I said, we'll all be on a spectrum here. Some of you will have it really strong. Some of you will have done a lot of work on this. Some of you might have done a lot of work on this and like realize, wow, there's still a lot more there to do. Yeah. Two things will happen and it will make you uncomfortable in two very specific ways. So the first one is that when you start to take action, or when you even maybe think about starting to take action, that means you'll need to take on more visibility. Fear and anxiety will be activated within you. Sometimes extreme fear and extreme anxiety can be activated. The second thing is when you speak of yourself and your value and your big goals, confidence, you will potentially trigger this like feeling of I'm being arrogant and I don't want to be perceived that way, and that will trigger shame. So these two experiences, extreme fear and anxiety and shame and embarrassment, fear of ridicule, will be the things that stop you in your tracks until this vow is processed and integrated. Okay. And it's actually what they're designed to do. These two experiences that can happen, because what's going on in the autonomic nervous system, all of these mega reactions that are really powerful deterrents, right? From you doing the thing that's terrifying for your lower self, for your inner child, for your ego, for your shadow. Keep you in line with this vow to stay small, to stay invisible, to not shine too brightly. And this was my old story, you know, like in order to avoid judgment and criticism and rejection, I dimmed my light so as not to shine too brightly. That was my story. And that's still my story. I still see like how this continues to play out in my business, in my relationships, in my life, right? Like if I could define it in one sentence, it's that, because of the fear of judgment and criticism and rejection, right? Like really, really core wounding stuff. So this creates a very specific brand of procrastination, a very specific like inertia that happens. Like the energy of this will start to become very powerful, and it will kind of be like a self-feeding dinosaur almost inside of us, right? Until we are able to understand, first of all, why we've taken on the vow and exactly how the vow has played out in our business, in our life, in our relationships, and actively eliminate it, right? Actively cut it off at the root, right? What I'm going to be doing once we've done this session is I'm going to be sharing a link to a really powerful hypno journey that I recorded a few months ago that is designed, it's all about clearing vows, right? So really encourage this. These two go hand in hand really beautifully, okay? So I really encourage you to do this, see what comes up for you. If there's a lot there, take yourself on. It's about 30 minutes. Do the hypno journey too. So the next thing we need to think about, as I'm going to take you through a process that's going to kind of test to see how strong this vow is running in you. And then we're going to be I'm going to take you through another process that's going to be all about like, okay, you say you want visibility. You say you want PR exposure. You say you want to take this, to take everything to the next level. How well is your business able to actually accommodate that? How well is your nervous system able to actually accommodate that, right? There's like the two aspects here of like the feminine energetics. Is your feminine body able and willing and open to receive much, much, much higher levels of visibility and momentum and wealth is that, first of all, and for men and women, of course, like we have both, is that foundation laid? And secondly, that like masculine structure. Do you have the structures in your business to support that? If you were to suddenly have 1,000 people email you, say, I want to work with you, what would that do to you? What would that do to your business, right? Would you really be able to handle that? These are the kinds of things we really need to think about, okay? Because otherwise, what happens? We understand what happens. Okay, so pulling out pens and papers, please, first. We're going to get a couple of numbers down, okay, just for the purpose of this session, of this process. I want you to have a think about, like, what amount of money, and we're going to talk about money because money is triggers the shit out of our nervous system for many, many, many reasons. I'm not going to go into the details of how and why, but we know, right? Money, it's like it triggers old family stuff, triggers old wounding. So I want you to think, like, close your eyes for a minute, take a breath. Anyone watching the replay, I would really encourage you to answer these questions in the comments as well, so that you're energetically tapping in. If you could have a business year that was like, a business income, like profit, that was the most amazing, it would be like all of your dreams coming true. How much money would you absolutely love to be earning? How much profit would you love to earn in your business? First number that comes, I want you to write it down. Okay. Don't think about it too much. Next, how many hours a week would you love to work for that? Not do you feel you need to work for that, but how many hours a week would you actually like to work for that money? And work, you know what I mean by that. Like, hold space for that money, operate in your business. How many hours a week? Taking into consideration family time, leisure time, you know, like all of the other things that we do inside of our lives. How many hours a week would you love to luxuriate in the energy of your business? That's a nice way to put it. Okay. Hopefully you've got your two answers there. Everyone just give me a little thumbs up. Yep. Alrighty, I want you to all close your eyes and place your feet on the floor. Taking a breath. And just coming into the internal realms in your body, feeling your feet connected to the earth, feeling your bum on the chair, your back up against the chair, like really being in that physicality experience of your body, of the skin and the sinew and the tissue and the muscle and the energy moving, and maybe the, like if you have any pain or any uncomfortability, just noticing that. And then letting it all go. I want you to imagine that behind your eyelids is a movie screen. And on that movie screen is a movie of you. And you're standing on a really big stage in a big, beautiful auditorium. And you've done up gorgeously. You've got amazing clothes on. Like, you're standing there in all of your power, feeling really, really good. And as you can see on the movie, the audience is made up of lots of people, okay? Lots and lots of people in there. All of your family is there. All of your extended family. All of your old colleagues from all of the jobs you've done. Your school teachers are there. Your school friends are there. Your partner, your kids, everyone, your current clients, your current friends, everyone that you know is in that room there to see you. And you're standing on that stage in front of a big whiteboard. And you turn to the whiteboard and you write the number that you just wrote down on that whiteboard. And you, in big letters, big numbers, and you turn around to the audience and you say, this is how much I deserve to make per year. I really, really want to make that much money. I deserve to make that much money because I am a rock star at what I do. I am an expert in my field and I deserve to get paid beautifully well for it. And so I want you to notice what's happening in that audience, in this movie screen. And there'll be a range of different things that go on there. But I want you to notice what's the response in that movie screen, in the audience. What's the response? How do people react? How do your old friends react? How do your old high school teachers react? Importantly, family, friends, current clients. What is the overwhelming response? And then if there's anyone that's like, yeah, I don't think so, I want you to like zoom in on them and I want you to just put your ear to what they're saying and I want you to allow them to speak. What do they say? And we're going to understand why in a second. We want to zone in on this and really hear this. And then once you've gathered as much information, really important information from this movie screen, from this image, I want you to look back at you on that stage. How does she or he feel standing on that stage, declaring their worth, declaring that they deserve and that they only need to work this many hours a week? How do they feel standing there doing that? What is the response? Are they like owning it and feeling congruent in every cell of their body? They're like, yes. Or are they standing there like cower, like shoulders hunched, wanting to melt, wanting to disappear, feeling very nervous, very uncomfortable? Noticing all of this. And then bringing yourself back to the body that you are in and the feeling on the floor of your feet pressed on the floor and taking a breath and opening your eyes. Okay, so the reason why I'm going to like ask a few people, the reason why I asked you those questions and then got you to visualize in the audience is because what it can do is it can kind of trick your subconscious mind into revealing in the faces of other people if there's old wounding around this, if there's old stories, old beliefs. It's like if I was to ask you directly these questions consciously, like face to face, you'd be like, yeah, I mean, I deserve to make that much money. Yeah, like, I mean, I know I can do it in 20 hours a week or 15 hours a week. Yeah, I'm for sure worth $500,000 a year, easy. But what we want to get to is the deep unconscious stuff, the deep subconscious stuff. Okay, so like I said, we'll all be on a spectrum. And I'm going to just like, who feels like they want to raise their hand and share a little bit about how that was? Yep. Okay. We'll go Steph, we'll go Zoe, we'll go Jules. And Kirsty, did you put your hand up too? Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you did. Okay. All righty. Steph, we'll go over to you first.
Yeah, that was so cool because the first time I did this with you was in BAM about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost now. And back then, the figure I wrote on the piece of paper was $150,000.
Oh my God.
And we were like cheering. So you've got to remember, in like the 6 months prior to that session, I'd gone from charging $60 a session to a $3,000 package.
Yeah.
The money, before you even asked the question, I don't know why, but a figure dropped in. And so the figure I've written down today is $3 million. I was like, well, fuck me. That's a big difference. The same amount of hours, still 15 hours.
Yeah.
But when I zoomed in on people, the doubters, it was really interesting because my sisters were like both doubting me, but they don't speak. And then they were like both having the same opinion of me, even though they don't like each other. But then I was like, that's cool. And then I went and listened to some old teachers. And so they had their things to say, which weren't nice at all. But then the teachers were like, one of them was like, that's a lot of money. Why would she need that much money?
Yeah.
And I was like, so then when it came back to me, I was just standing there and I was just like, oh, good guys, I see you.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
nice. And there was literally no flinching me. If anything, there was compassion for them because it was
Yeah.
like, you are limited. And then the people like the current clients and my current friends and my partner, who is not current but is obviously manifesting,
Ah, yes.
was like, yeah, babe, fuck yeah. And I was like, they get it. They get that it's about the legacy. They get that it's not $3 million in my pocket.
Yeah.
Like, they get what it's about. So
Amazing.
I just didn't even have any doubt. Like there was
Any trigger.
Nah.
And that just goes, that's a testament to the work you've done.
Oh, it was huge.
And to continuing to show up in the face of perceived challenge and crisis and like overcoming it every time, because this is what it's about, right? Have you ever seen that beautiful meme? It's like what most people think entrepreneurialism is like success, you know, like here I am and here's the success. And then like underneath it, it's like, woo, like, whoa,
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is amazing. This is fucked. This is so good. Oh my God.
And
that's what we're doing in business. Exactly. Yeah.
So
okay, beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And it ties into a big awakening I had last week too, but I'll share that online.
Okay.
Thanks.
I can't wait to hear. Thank you for sharing. Zoe.
Yeah, that was great.
Great. Tell me what came up.
Yeah, so I was really quite relieved that like there was no stuff that came up with family. I'll come back to family. There's a but most of my family, teachers, school friends, even current friends, yeah, all of that felt really like, yeah, why not? You know, she always had that in her, was kind of the feeling I was getting.
Beautiful.
So quite affirmative, but totally surprised me. My brother, who I semi grew up with, because we had a split family and he left home quite young. When I was quite young, he's my older brother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of contact with him, so I totally didn't think that there'd be anything there with us. However, I realized that there's a whole pattern there that I'd totally forgotten about, of shining too brightly next to him, because he always had a bit of a hard ride in life.
Yeah.
And he did choose the other family, which was not a good choice in many ways, and didn't go so well for him. He's now fine, but the whole time I sort of felt guilty for shining too brightly, and we chose two very different paths. I kind of chose to be the good girl and he chose to be the bad boy, and so our worlds are very different. And so I really saw that and I thought, wow, okay. And
so let's unpack the pattern a little bit. What's the frequency of that?
Well, the words that came was like, why should you get that when others work just as hard as you? So it's like what makes you so freaking special? That kind of vibe. And I remember he did have that about him with me growing up.
Powerful, hey?
Yeah.
And especially with family, like especially if we've come from a bit of a working class, blue collar background, the working hard paradigm is like ingrained in our cellular DNA. And I speak from experience because I come up against this like all the time. You know, all the time. And it might not necessarily look like how our parents modeled working hard with the sacrifice and the never there and the impact, but it might like show up in different kinds of ways, do you know? So this is one of the most deeply ingrained, and because it goes right back, like we don't know how old these patterns are. They're many, 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 many generations old. So recognizing, especially with family, that, you know, you've seen that. It's like, well, how can you have it so easy? How can you make, you know, what was your number that you called in?
Well, it doesn't feel like that much, especially because it's not like, but it was just the number that came to me intuitively. And you were talking profit, not just your total revenue. So 200,000.
Okay, cool. So, you know, how can you make 200,000 by working how many hours a week?
15.
I think probably did all of us have between 15 and 20, maybe even lower? Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Beautiful. Love it. Yeah. So, like, how dare you earn so much money by working so little and having so much fun and pleasure and joy? You're not allowed to have that much joy. You're
And
not allowed to feel
the
that
other
good.
Yeah, yeah. And the other pattern I realized too is that he affiliated himself. So when I grew up, my mum and my dad were craftspeople. We lived
Ah, yeah.
very simply on a beautiful, beautiful land, community land in Western Australia.
Mm,
And and then when the family split very when I was very young, but then my other family became very academic, and that was the family I affiliated with.
mm,
And my brother affiliated with my blood dad, who is actually like he his whole life was a stained glass maker and
mm.
did beautiful artistic work for the community, did a lot of things like soup kitchens and charitable things, but never had any friggin' money. And
Yeah.
so even though I've got that humanitarian charity based kind of background in my bones too, my brother always kind of affiliates himself with the poor struggling artists that he
Right.
was.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me
Yeah.
like reconciling the vows of poverty
Yeah.
when you serve the community and you're artistic and
Yeah.
the love of your creations rather than and helping others rather than making money.
It's huge. And this shows up a lot in like the spiritual entrepreneurial space. Like if you consider yourself a spiritual person, you might have come up against this. Like, how can you charge so much for that? Like, who are you? Like, if you're just downloading this from from God, like all
Yeah,
of that stuff can come through in different threads as well. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Lots there.
yeah.
Powerful. Can you see the impact that that's had on you?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we want. We want to
Yeah.
get really
And
present
and
to it.
also really, I'm really pleased that no other members of the community. So it's
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
really given me a very targeted sort of
Yeah.
thing to work with, which is
Yeah.
great.
Beautiful. I love that.
My dad's
Okay.
no longer alive, so my brother kind of
Okay.
represents that aspect of the family.
Yeah. And isn't it amazing? Like we download so much of our parents before the age of 8 years old. They're like sponges, like soaking it up, soaking it all up. And so to see like so clearly how the different almost like the blueprints have landed into your systems. But of course, like it's all stuff that for 99% of the population, this stuff remains deeply buried in the subconscious.
Mm.
And the majority of people don't really ever truly unpack it. They might notice, like, why do I keep attracting these experiences and why does this keep happening to me? But it's not, they don't necessarily come into that deeper level of awareness. So in many cases, just seeing it for what it is and being present to the impact and seeing the genesis is enough. But we also want to, as we go through our launch, as we trigger off all of this visibility stuff, potentially you might not have so much. We want to work with it and like use it to like as a catharsis, to cleanse, to release, to let it go, so that we can actually acclimate to mega visibility.
And
Beautiful.
the other realization I'm having about this too, Tash,
Yeah.
is that there's two parts of me. There's the entrepreneurial part that feels like a bit of a magician and feels like I can create anything and make anything and make
Yeah.
it successful because I've seen that in myself. But there's another part of me. It's like, oh, I just so want the simple life. Like, give me
Yeah.
a little cabin in the forest
Yeah.
with some art materials and music and stuff. And like, I so don't need any of that other stuff.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
realizing with this,
Who
because
resonates?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like all of us, probably. Powerful.
It resonates with that family line division and
Yeah.
realizing that I actually can still be a wildly successful entrepreneur with making plenty of money and have the cabin in the forest with the art.
And lead a simple life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring
definitely.
together.
And that is like the
Mm,
more money we make, there's often the tendency to overcomplicate.
mm,
And to like it's like the more income coming in, the more income going out, or the more money going out, the more complicated things get, like staff members and like liaising with like personalities, like it can get more full. So that's something that you're going to have to really consciously cultivate in your life, is like, okay, I know that there's the possibility for that, the overcomplication of life and business, and I am commanding with the power of my intention that I can make amazing wealth and still be highly pleasurable, highly joyful, and lead a simple life. You know, that's like almost a command. So that feels really powerful. Who else wants to share? Thank you for sharing, Zoe. Yeah, Jules. Maybe we'll keep it under a couple of minutes so we can hear from from the people who feel like sharing. Go for it, babe. Can't hear you, darling. Still muted, I think. Oh no, it says you're not muted. Oh. Not sure if you're having some problems with your microphone. Maybe what we'll do is we'll move on and we'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, there you go. You're there. Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I first did this with you, I think 3 or 4 years ago.
It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
At the Health Collective, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
And I remember I could not even focus on it because I had major anxiety just like stepping out of my comfort zone back then. And I think my amount was like $80,000, which is crazy. So my amount now is $10 million. And I felt amazing on stage. I was like, yeah, I'm worth this easily. Yeah. I felt great. I had people cheering for me. I had this amazing boyfriend who exists but not in my realm yet. He was there as well. I had this killer body. It was just amazing. And
I love it.
when I had to like zoom in, I had people from high school cheering, like they were all just super supportive.
Yeah.
And then when I had to zoom into the audience, the only one person, and I really had to look for it, was my ex-husband.
Yeah.
And he was like, he wasn't so much saying you're not worth it or you can't do it, but it was more whatever, like just super dismissive.
Like indifferent.
Yeah, as if it was no big deal that I've done this like amazing thing that's changed my life and the lives around me and the lives of his children. It's just like, yeah, whatever, like no big deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, that was really interesting.
So good to be able to see the growth.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And especially like the great thing about these kinds of processes is they're really measurable, you know, like you can see, usually I get people to rate like on a scale of 1 to 10. And then you do it again a few months later, you're like, whoa, I can see that's down like, 10 points, 8 points, however many points.
Yeah.
Yours is like off the Richter.
Yeah. Well,
to go from literally, I can't even bring up this in my mind because I'm filled with so much anxiety and I'm going to I can't even look at it, to claiming 10 million with an amazing impact, an amazing legacy. Yeah. So
and
good.
It was 20 hours a week I was working.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And and it's actually, I've actually been practicing this a lot lately and writing, manifesting, manifesting a lot. I even wrote myself a letter for New Year's Day next year.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thanking myself for everything that I've achieved. And one of them was financial wealth. So
yeah, so great. So great. I love those the future self work.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Did anyone find that like overwhelmingly like, oh, or were most people like, yeah, pretty good, feeling pretty, which is like such a great indicator. Sophie, can I sense a little? Do you want to unmute?
Yeah, this is quite new.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, and like in my old like school and everyone, like through this past 2 years, I've made this change and I've noticed that I've had people that I haven't even spoken to in 10 years that would comment on my posts and be like, why do you have this opinion? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I didn't even remember you.
Yeah.
But it triggered something. So what I felt on stage was like this flattering in my chest, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell these people now. But I'm also I'm all in the beginning of actually being okay with having a service. Like people, I've been asked so many times this past year, like, so what do you do, Sophie? And I'm like, life right now. I'm trying to figure out what I can offer, because I'm still figuring that out. like how to have it properly, like, because it's so wide. I've been through so much, so I need to find where I'm at, and I've been changing my service over the years as it's been progressing.
Sure.
What I want to do in life, because I'm like, okay, well, that's gone now I need to find something new that's in this time, but I feel like I'm onto something now. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So,
yeah. And even if it's like I used to do this, you know, when I was wasn't like when I was cultivating the confidence, I'll call it that, to be seen and to be visible and to be in business and to call myself an expert, I would stand in the mirror and I would say, I'm an expert at what I do, you know, and I would practice it, like, you know, call them these little captivate statements, you know, I serve these kinds of people dealing with these kinds of issues to help these to experience these kinds of outcomes, so that like it felt comfortable. And it takes a lot of practice, you know, if you're not used to talking that way, it takes practice, and sometimes there's nowhere safer than in the bathroom, in the shower, when no one is looking and the walls are foggy.
Yeah, because I still feel really young in this in this area and in this way of doing life.
So what an amazing like soul nudge to join this project at the same time as like, and there was a few women in the last project that I did who were like, one woman, she's like, I don't even have a business yet when she came aboard. And I was like, well, usually I wouldn't bring someone who doesn't have a business on board. However, I feel like this will be really powerful if you want to join it. Like, it's going to be an amazing personal development experience. And at the end, she was like, I have a business. I created it in 6 months. I have clients. I made $5,000 last month. She was just like blown away because it was, she was in the crucible of like, you know, in the fire. And that's how a lot of us like to operate. So well done. Really, really honoring that. And recognizing that the more visible we are, the more it's going to attract the naysayers, which is great, because then we can go, boo, and boo, and get off my friends list and beat it. You know, so
signing up for this is,
we all get it, we all understand,
me kicking myself in the butt to like, okay, out, it doesn't have to be perfect, just you've taken the step.
And you know, sometimes a post like, this is me, this is what I do now, this is my business, this is my direction, this is my profile, and I'm going to use it the way I see fit. And if y'all don't like that, there's the door. I remember I did a post like that at the very beginning, because I had like family, you know, family members being like, calling my mom and all of that. And it made a big difference, you know, like I stepped in energetically into this space of like, you can't touch this. No. You know, it's like I stepped into my boundaries, and water off a duck's back. Now, if that happens, water off a duck's back. I don't have my hooks out for people to hang their jackets on, you know, and that's often like where we enter. It's like, I've got all of these hooks out, my hooks being my insecurities and my fears, and everyone just goes bloop, and I take it on, you know, I make it mean something about me. So let's keep going. I'm going to do one more quick process with you all, just to kind of round it up, maybe turn up the heat a little bit. So I want you to just close your eyes again. Taking a breath, letting all of that go. And once again, movie screen behind your eyes. I want you to imagine on that movie is a movie of you, and you are behind the stage, behind the scenes, preparing to be interviewed by Oprah. Or if Oprah doesn't resonate and isn't like, you know, that high level in your industry, maybe like Russell Brand, or someone who like really represents, like really big, high level of visibility, high level of authority, right? So just like imagining you're about to either go on stage and be interviewed by Oprah, go on stage, be interviewed by Russell Brand, chat to Joe Rogan, like whoever it is. And I want you just to put yourself in that scene. You're walking out there, like you're walking on stage. You can see all the bright lights. You can see all the people, thousands of people in the audience. Behind the people in the audience, you can see the tiny little flashes of the millions upon millions of people who are tuning in through the internet. and you're standing there with all of this attention, all of this mega visibility, and you're about to be interviewed about why you're an expert in your field and the amazing work that you do and the transformation that you facilitate. And then imagining that, like, suddenly your inbox is flooded with people wanting to work one-on-one with you, wanting to join your programs, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people interested in your work. And I want you to imagine, like, stepping into that space where you are holding space for all those people. Your systems are holding space for all those people. And how does that feel right now when you imagine that 10,000 people suddenly interested in working with you? What's there? Like, what's the, ooh. And it's really powerful to name it, because by naming it, you can see where your gaps are. So is it like, I've only got so many hours of the day, I can't serve this many people in my one-on-one containers, and that's the only offering I have? Is it, I don't have the systems to keep track of where 10,000 people are at inside of my programs? Is it, I don't have the nervous system, like my nervous system isn't expanded enough to be able to hold those people energetically throughout their transformation in my programs? Watching and feeling and isolating exactly where's the alrighty, and then capturing all that information and coming back. And I want to hear from two people, maybe two people who haven't spoken yet. Yes, Alison.
That was interesting because my heart started picking up pace a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I also felt relaxed and like this is where I belong.
Okay, good. Good.
And I feel that I would, which previously 10 hours is what came up. And a minimum of 230,000 a month. So whatever that would be. I don't know how many millions or what that would be, but that's what popped up. But a more of allowing, it would allow me to be in my zone of genius of managing the organization and team FE, team fully exposed. And then of course, nurturing that time and space for myself to be able to be present in those random moments that I am in the public eye.
Yeah, beautiful. So you can see where the growth is. So let me just reiterate to you, this is about you bringing on a team to manage all of those operational pieces. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
So that you have the space to do what you do best. Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Okay. So is that like, what's the first action step you can take to start calling in that level of support?
What's hard for me to bridge is paying them to bring them on. There's like a gap between what's incoming versus outgoing to be able to have them support me.
Sure. And that's often this like double bind that we can find ourselves in, right? It's like we got to have a certain amount of profit in order to justify the expense. And often what is like the thing is like, well, when we have the support, it frees us up to be able to do what we do best, do you know? And often I know when I started investing in support, it at the same level, it was like it precipitated, well, not as precipitated, but it came at the same time as a big growth in my business. So yeah, I get that. You want to be at a certain level, bringing in a certain level of income before it's like, right, that's the logical next step. And I know some people that were like started their business and was like, I know what my vision is. I don't want to do this shit I don't like. Maybe I'm not earning that much, but I'm going to still invest in that level of support because I know it's going to increase my productivity.
I even had a ping for an investor's pitch.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Yes. Or grants. I mean, there's so many ways that we can call in cash, fastest path to cash. Beautiful. Okay, thank you. Zoe, I finally have excitement. I have more fears around not getting enough interest. I got excited at calling in my incredible team. I felt the same. Who got excited at that much visibility? Yes. Kirsty, do you want to share a little bit about what came up for you then? You just have to unmute yourself.
Yes, I can see there's so many things lacking currently, which is all good. It's all fully aware of where I'm at. But I got on this project to make me, because I've been wanting to change this for years. So, I don't know why that makes me so emotional.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've been talking this way, I don't know, for a long time. The reason I even became in the profession I'm in was actually back 20 plus years ago, was purely so I could have a family, flexibility around the family, never in this work bind kind of situation or burnout mode or anything. Thanks, Charlie. And it's like I just need to be forced. So I really felt the calling for this to push me, to make me put the actions in. And there is always that gap that I've always had. I don't hire whatever it may be, a VA, an assistant, anything, because I don't have the fund. I'm not earning to pay anybody, but I know that whole catch-22 situation. And I really feel I'm just getting really feelings from my grandmother. Anyway, I feel that her inheritance is actually, this is like my family's, my grandparents' legacy, that is for me to put these steps into place to make this change in the world, to really fulfill my purpose, and and obviously for my kids and so on. And it's so funny that this stuff gets held up, and that there's always another party involved fighting it.
Yeah.
And I went through it before with my father as well. Like my father's inheritance allowed me to have security for an apartment, where I live, and only have a small mortgage. So I've been able to manage not earning much. I've been able to actually never have to work, super ridiculous hours, because I'm okay even with a small mortgage. And so this next sort of thing that's being held up, and it was all held up last time in exactly the right timing, because I was actually with a partner who I know for sure was going to take it all. Like the man,
Whoa.
Not in a bad way, but he's an opportunist. He's like, he would have, we would have put it into a business together, that sort of thing. Like he would have, it wasn't much, it wasn't a, a huge amount of money or anything, but it was, it set my life up. And that would have gone. So it took like this time for me to actually end that relationship. And then all of a sudden it came through.
So it's about trusting.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that there's a reason for this. And I also feel some of the reason is that I need to get these actions in place, or really on the path to it happening before it comes in. So I don't just then go, oh, well, I'm set now, I don't have to do anything because I'm safe. And stay in that sort of comfort. So it's like I've got to have, it's like my grandmother's telling me, like, she wants me to have this for this purpose, but it's like I've got to put in these kind of steps to get there.
You know exactly why. Like you can hear, sense, feel, see why the timing is playing out the way that it is. I think it's about like trusting that it is playing out for a reason, and everything that's been happening in your little microcosm is like, it's like bringing the stuff, you know, when we get sick, it's the body detoxing. It's the same thing, right? And recognizing that that's all happening in divine timing.
That's it. And, it's
and
that shift,
taking the
that
actions that you know you can take now to support you to be ready.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot that you can be doing in terms of like preparation, foundational work, strategic work that you can be doing that can just be so that when that money drops in, it's like, you know, the arrow is it's nooked, is that the word? And you just need to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like I need to find the people to support, like the team.
Yeah.
I thought originally it's just, me and my husband, but that's not going to work. Like, it's really, we need the other people that have got the expertise in all these things. So it's not us just spending so much time and craziness around developing it all from scratch.
Hire it, outsource it. And it will be an investment, but a very worthwhile one.
And it's crazy, it's like the lowest point I've ever been in for like money, because he hasn't worked for 6 months to actually come up with this, you know.
Who's been there where it's like the universe is telling me to jump off that cliff, and there's no certainty that there's a safety net there, however I need to do it. It's like that beautiful, another meme comes to mind where it's like the little person on the edge of the cliff, and then it's like me, arrow down, and then there's God's hand, and it's like you can see that, like, jumping off the cliff and you're going to land. It's like source has got you. And then the person flicking also God. Or like source, or whoever you
every
use,
time there are these little, like the start of the project or our writing or whatever it is, like I get so inspired and my intuition's flying and my higher soul is in control and all of this stuff, and then, you know, you flip back into the humanness and the smallness and all that kind of stuff. And every time I get these moments now, almost like the teary stuff is like the higher beings going, you know, she's nearly there. It's like, you know, the excitement of them going like, she's, you know, finally doing it. Because
when we're really comfy we're like, no, I like it here. Okay, so you're in a very uncomfortable place, and that is also the place of the most growth. We've all been there, all of us have been there, I'm sure, where there's like little money in the accounts, bills are coming in, kids getting sick, and we are being asked to do something terrifying. And it's like the longer we avoid doing it, the more terrifying it gets. So we can all hold you in that and support you energetically as you take that leap off that cliff. Because the worst place you can be in is in a place of indecision. When you're like not making this decision and you're not making that decision, it's like you're being, you know, stretched. It's terribly uncomfortable.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes apart from your internal world getting the pressure building up more and more and more. So guys, let's do a quick, yes, Natalie, go for it.
Sorry, hi guys. So I actually, it'd be so helpful to understand how to get from that point of, yes, I want a team, to how the heck am I going to put together a team? Because that's when I was in the process of doing that, I was so excited. I felt so good. My energy was expanding. I was like, yes, I can feel the people. It was very celebratory. And then I had this team around me that was, everything just felt in flow. I could just ask them something and it was like they knew exactly what I wanted. And I'm like, how do I get from this point to that point and move forward? Like, it's that in between bit that I'm not sure about, right? Because it's so easy going from, it's so easy to just do things yourself and want to hold your baby, you know, really close to your heart. But I wrote down $10 million and 20 hours work. And I was like, that felt easy. And it just came in straight away. And I feel that I'm ready, totally ready for it. And I know that I will be able to achieve that with the right team. So that bit of the team, I think, giving things away and not being able to have, I suppose,
delegating.
Yeah, the D word is scary.
It is scary. Yeah.
But I think that you can only achieve that with a team around you.
Absolutely, 100%. And it involves surrendering control and trust and all of the things like what are people, what's this person going to do with my baby? Yeah. And like I've been through my fair share of shit team members and like, you know, that haven't been a good fit. And I've had to lovingly, I shouldn't say fit shit, but you know, like it happens as well. You know, Zoe, I know you've been through that as well yourself. It's part and parcel with the hiring process. So it's like just recognizing it's the next level of growth, like where we move from soulpreneur into true entrepreneur, team leader, you know, visionary, really.
It's so good once you're there and you've got like team around you and it's like almost like you're telepathically communicating with each other because they just know you so well and everything's just flowing. You don't have to worry about it. Good.
And it takes time to build that up, but yeah, it is, it's the next level. Thank you for sharing, Steph. I feel this is all about deepening into your feminine essence, to trust the masculine provision that is always wanting to flow to us if we're open to receive. So powerful. I love it. So let's do a little bit of tapping and then we're going to finish off. Has anyone not done tapping before? Everyone's experienced it. Yay, that's great. I love tapping because it's like just me and my fingers. I can do it anywhere. It sounds kind of dirty, but it ain't. And you know, like you can, even if you're like sitting at the table sitting at your desk about to do a live, you can do some finger tapping to kind of soothe the nervous system, and just even a couple of minutes. Really fucking nervous. I'm about to go on and share this story and I know I need to share it, but man, what will people think? Like it's about just voicing what's there, getting it out, letting it release from your nervous system. Okay. I don't do usually the karate chop. I just go right into it. Don't do the setup points or anything. I just dive right in. So let's do just a quick round. And I want to encourage you guys, like whatever tools you have as we approach to our launch, call on them, lean on them, support each other. Like everyone is an amazing expert in their field. Think about the collective wisdom that we have inside of this book, right? Like it's amazing. Like 22 years and lifetimes worth of knowledge and expertise. And yeah, it's really powerful. So maybe get everyone to mute apart from who wants to be my shadow. Maybe Jules, you want to be my shadow? Have you done this with me before? No, okay, we'll go Steph. You happy to be my shadow, babe? Okay, so everyone else muted, and I want you to just repeat when Steph repeats. Okay, so Steph will be unmuted so you can hear. And I'm just going to riff on a few different things that we've spoken about today. So let's just take a breath. Excuse me. Everything that we've experienced and tapped into today, I want you to call it all forth. Bring it all around you, like turn up the heat on it, like intensify it, like turn it up in your body. Everything that we've tapped into today, the excitement, the nerves, the next level, like all of it, bring it in and lean in. And when we tap, if there's emotion, let it come. Every time you tap and like suppress the emotion, you're facilitating greater conflict, internal conflict. So you might like to keep your eyes closed. I do personally, so that I can stay in the field of it. And Steph, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Tapping through the points. Here I am.
Here I am.
And everyone repeating when Steph repeats, yeah? About to jump off that cliff.
About to jump off that cliff.
Terrified and excited.
Terrified and excited.
Fearful and afraid.
Fearful and afraid.
Ready.
Ready.
And not ready.
And not ready.
In my human.
In my human.
Connected to my soul.
Connected to my soul.
Feeling it all.
Feeling it all.
And allowing my body to process everything.
And allowing my body to process everything.
All of the emotion.
All of the emotion.
All of the triggers.
All of the triggers.
All of the joy.
All of the joy.
All of it is true.
All of it is true.
I can hold two things at once.
I can hold two things at once.
Two opposing truths in my body.
Two opposing truths in my body.
And as we approach this launch,
And as we approach this launch,
as we share this amazing book with the world,
as we share this amazing book with the world,
recognizing anything is possible.
anything is possible.
All my life has been preparing me for this moment.
All of my life has been preparing me for this moment.
All of my trauma,
All of my trauma,
all of my joy,
all of my joy,
all of my pain and fear,
all of my pain and fear,
all of my excitement,
all of my excitement,
boiled into this one delicious moment.
boiled into this one delicious moment.
And so I open
And so I open
and open
and open
and open a little more,
and open a little more,
wondering how fucking good can life get?
wondering how fucking good can life get?
Because I am calling it in.
Because I am calling it in.
Amazing wealth,
Amazing wealth,
support,
support,
incredible clients,
incredible clients,
mega visibility,
mega visibility,
amazing impact,
amazing impact,
and everything else that I desire.
and everything else that I desire.
I claim it all.
I claim it all.
I say yes.
I say yes.
I call it in and I activate it
I call it in and I activate it
in every motherfucking cell of my body.
in every motherfucking cell of my body.
I have never been more aligned,
I've never been more aligned,
nor will be more aligned
nor will be more aligned
than this next phase I'm moving into.
than this next phase I'm moving into.
So we say yes.
So we say yes.
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 Calling in all of my support team to be with me in this moment moving forward.
Calling in all of my support team to be with me in this moment moving forward.
Okay. Just take a breath, close your eyes. And I always I invite like a little, just noticing how you feel after. I always feel so juicy and good in my body after doing tapping. So like you might want to take a little, what I call a little somatic photograph of this feeling, because it feels really good, really nourishing for me. Maybe it does for you too. Alrighty, my loves. Thank you for a powerful session. If anyone has any other big ahas that they feel they didn't get to share, please pop it into the Facebook group. I missed a thing here. I love what Tash said about luxuriating in the energy of our business. As a feminine Taurian, resting is where I magnetize the most. I feel like everyone is like that. When we rest, when we lean back, we're more magnetic. Alrighty, so that's all. Okay. Take care. Have a great day.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.